UFC Louisville, Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imavov just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. I'm going to go through every single fight on this card and give you my reaction and breakdown. Starting off with the very first fight of the night, Puja Tomar versus Rayanne Amanda. Tomar wins via split decision. You know, the judges were horrible tonight. I mean, the judges were bad, but it didn't result in a lot of bad decisions, if that makes sense. But Tomar gets it done, split decision. I think one judge even had it 30-27, if I'm not mistaken. She lost this fight. I thought she arguably lost all 3 rounds. Maybe you could give her the first round. She just backed up the entire fight and threw kicks. Rayanne Amanda was clubbing her with some good shots, was walking her down, had the little bit of control time throughout the fight. I just don't know how anybody would watch that fight and say, you know what, I think Tomar got the decision. I think she won the fight, let alone won 3 out of 3 rounds. I know it's a low-level women's MMA fight. I know it's an early prelim, but this is just egregious. I mean, this is horrible judging. Rayanne Amanda deserved to win this fight. She was walking her down, clubbing her with the right hand, just landing good shots, and meanwhile, Tomar was just throwing kicks nonstop. She had, like in the 3rd round, she had a side kick to the body that kind of put Amanda down, but it was really more of, it wasn't because she was hurt, it was just because she caught her really solidly as she was coming in. That doesn't even win you the 3rd round, in my opinion. So I don't know how a judge watched this fight, watched Rayanne Amanda walk her down, land clubbing shots, and you had Tomar in the 3rd round, like clearly losing the 3rd round and like screaming and like throwing kicks and backing up like she did the entire fight. She backed up and threw kicks the entire fight. That's what she did. And the 1st round was actually exciting. And a couple times throughout the fight, she stood her ground and threw a couple decent combinations. But Rayanne Amanda clearly won this fight. I don't think it's up for debate. There was really no grappling in this fight. And Amanda just walked her down and landed some good, solid striking with her hands. I just don't get it. The judges are horrible, deserve to be called out. Disgrace to the sport. Moving up on the card, Taylor Lapilus versus Cody Stamann. Taylor Lapilus wins via unanimous decision. I scored at 30-27. Basically every single round, Lapilus just grew stronger and stronger and stronger. The 1st round, clearly won the 1st round, landing body kicks, leg kicks, couple hard shots. I think he even dropped him in the 1st round with a punch. I remember it being like kind of questionable. He was a little bit off balance maybe. But Stamann, I think, got a takedown the 1st round, didn't do anything with it. And then just kind of Lapilus just built off the performance from there. 2nd, 3rd round, landing good left hands, landing good hard body kicks. Elbows on the brakes. Stamann would come in, clinch up, look for a takedown, never really get close. Lapilus would be digging underhooks and just out muscling him in a little bit in the clinch. And every time when he would break, he would throw a nice elbow over the top. So every single round was essentially Stamann squatting down. And they made this comparison on air. Michael Chandler style, just loading up, squatting down, throwing a big right hand, missing, and then looking to clinch and look for a takedown and look to just wrestle in the clinch. But Lapilus, I think he only got taken down the one time. Maybe he did. Maybe there was another time where he got down to like a knee or something. But every time he was taken down, even if it was just the one time, every time he just scrambled right back up. And the takedowns came few and far between. And as the fight went on, it seemed like Lapilus was just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it was in the 1st round where he kind of got ragdolled down. I thought for a second, oh, this doesn't look good. And then he got back up. And then I'm trying to remember. I don't think there was a takedown in the 2nd, and maybe there was like a takedown in the 3rd, but every time Lapilus just right back to his feet. I know Lapilus started to slow down a little bit in the 3rd, but it was the body kicks, it was the elbows on the break, and he landed a spinning back elbow as well in the 3rd round. Lapilus just way better striker than Cody Stamann. Stamann couldn't use his grappling effectively, and Lapilus is going to be, you know, an up-and-coming guy we can watch out for because if his grappling keeps getting better and better and better, his striking is already really good, so Cody Stamann's a decent test, nothing crazy, and he gets it done in a fairly dominant win in the 2nd fight of the night. Moving up on the card, we have Eduarda Moura versus Denise Gomes. Denise Gomes gets it done via split decision. This was an atrocious fight. 1st round, I scored for Moura. She clinched up. Gomes looked for a guillotine, didn't get it, ended up on bottom. Didn't really take much damage. On the way back up, she ate a knee. And then landed some on the feet, but ended up getting taken down with like 2 minutes to go and controlled and beat up a little bit. So I give the 1st round to Moura, but I could see giving it to Gomes. And then after that, it's just like over and over and over again. It was Moura shooting horrible takedowns. If she did get it, she did no damage. Gomes would look for some sub attempts, and I scored second and third round for Gomes. And I mean, Moura, I think she came in overweight. The way she was fighting that second and third round, she needs to be cut from the organization. The stamina was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. She looked completely gassed in the second round. The takedowns were coming in so sloppy. And the fact that she even found any grappling, because I think she found some grappling in the third round, it's just crazy to me. It is just crazy to me. She was completely gassed. Second round was horrible. Third round, she had a little bit. She was a little bit better than the second round. But she just didn't have enough. I mean, Gomes was seeing the takedowns come a mile away. Gomes wasn't doing that much on the feet because she was kind of worried about the takedowns. But in my opinion, Gomes clearly won the second and third round on the feet. First round, you could even give it to Gomes, but just because of submission attempts, there was one like kind of tight guillotine, but she held onto it standing and never really got to it. And then she was controlled quite a bit, and Moura did land some shots like the knee and the clinch on the way up. But Gomes won this fight. I don't know why it was a split decision. If it would have went to Moura, it would have been a robbery, in my opinion. So luckily, the right fighter won in this case, but another horrible, bad split decision by these judges. I don't know what they're thinking. I have no idea what they're thinking. But on to the next fight. We have Daniel Marcos versus John Castañeda. Flawless, almost flawless performance by Daniel Marcos. Marcos was very aggressive in this fight, and John Castañeda is a dog. If you've watched, a lot of his fights in the UFC, this guy's a savage. He's not like the elite of the elite or anything, but he goes to war with a lot of these guys. But Daniel Marcos, super clean, super well-rounded, striker primarily. First round being super aggressive, dropped him, I think, twice in the first round, was landing, right hands, landing uppercuts. I think he dropped him with an uppercut in the first round. It wasn't like Castañeda was almost out or anything but like that, but he caught him really good. Second round was Castañeda trying to grapple a little bit, trying to clinch a little bit. Marcos defending, landing some knees. And second round, clearly Marcos won again. I mean, it was pretty clear. I think Castañeda got one takedown, didn't do much with it. And then the third round, Marcos dominating him with nasty body kicks, looking good yet again, but at the very, very end, gets clipped with a punch and then a head kick. It was like 15 seconds left in the fight, and then ran for his life. He was backing up, had his eyes on him, but was backing up like his life depended on it because he did get hurt bad by the head kick. So maybe, I wouldn't give him the third. I didn't give him the third round. I scored a 30-27. I don't remember what the judges' scorecards were, because he wasn't like crazy wobbled bad, but it definitely hurt him. It definitely affected him, and he was definitely a little bit in survival mode. But Marcos looked really clean, and I like that he showed increased aggression in this fight. He was moving forward, throwing good shots. Even in the clinch, he was landing some good knees in the clinch, and Castañeda had nothing for him. Absolutely nothing for him. And Marcos is one of those guys, like, he's had some kind of dull performances in the past, and he hasn't had the killer instinct. In this fight, he showed a lot of aggression, particularly in the first round. I was shocked when I saw him marching down Castañeda, landing big shots and looking for finishes off the drop. So he didn't go crazy where he was going to gas himself out, but looked good in this fight. Good win over John Castañeda. Daniel Marcos basically got it done, all with his striking. Moving up on the card, we have Montana De La Rosa versus Andrea Lee. Another split decision. Would have been a robbery. It wouldn't have been a robbery if it would have went to Andrea Lee. Andrea Lee clearly won the first round, okay? She got taken down in full mount immediately. Lee reverses, ends up on top. Rosa started looking for a triangle, didn't get it. They got back to their feet. Lee hurt her with a spinning back fist. She started looking for an arm triangle there, didn't get it, and Lee landed the shots on the feet. And then I think she got off the arm triangle, like kind of the reversal. Lee ended up on top. Clear first round for Lee. Second round, Lee was winning, but like barely. And then like the last 45 seconds, Rosa landed a good combination. And then like the last 10 seconds landed a good shot. And I thought that really stole her the second round. Third round was mildly competitive. And then Rosa got a takedown. At one point had her flattened out, was landing good ground and pound shots. Lee eventually scrambled back up. And then like the last 10 seconds got taken down again and ate some ground and pound at the very end as well. So I thought Montana De La Rosa clearly won the third round. I guess you could score round 2 for Lee. I don't think that'd be too egregious. But I think 2 and 3 for Montana De La Rosa makes sense. Andrea Lee just can't get a win to save her life. And I know Tony Kelly was in the corner wishing he could say some type of racial slur, but he just didn't have the opportunity to do it on camera. And overall, Andrea Lee she's getting old. Her confidence has got to be gone. Her striking looked okay in this fight. Montana De La Rosa, I think it was the third round, got her nose busted up. And Lee, I thought Lee was kind of cruising to a victory in the third round, but then boom, it gets taken down, gets flattened out, eats some shots, eventually scrambles out though. But still, those shots where she was flattened out is what won Montana De La Rosa that round. And then the little flurry at the end on the ground. But overall, it wasn't a great fight. Super low level fight. I can't believe these women, these level of women is in the UFC. I just can't believe the barrier of entry nowadays. It's horrible. But Andrea Lee loses a split decision. I'm sure Tony Kelly is probably taking it out on some minority somewhere with his verbal abuse. Moving up on the card, we have Brad Katona versus Jesse Butler. Damn. Katona basically took him down, I think, off a kick. Was it a kick every single round? And just brutalized him on the ground. Just beat the dog shit out of him every single round. Third round, I think Butler had like a couple moments on the feet for like the first 30 seconds or a minute, and then Katona took him right down and just beat him up. There was multiple times where like maybe it could have been stopped, but I didn't think, I wasn't like, I don't want to say I was dying for the ref to jump in, but you know, he got beat up so bad, got cut badly in the second round, I think off an elbow. I was like wishing, you know what, maybe his corner should throw in the towel or stop it in between. Like, he took a lot of damage. And this wasn't even the worst. I mean, this wasn't the worst of the night. I didn't like hate this one. But it's like, damn. After the second round, what are we doing here at this point? Katona's taking him down at will. He's making Katona look like a prime Khabib Nurmagomedov. What are we watching? But Jesse Butler, we all know he didn't belong in the UFC. I wonder, let me look real quick. I doubt anyone picked Jesse Butler on Tabology. Let me take a look, just out of curiosity. 90% picked Katona in this fight, which was a clear pick. Garbage performance by Butler, coming off an absolute dominant. And then how crazy is it? I was going to say coming off an absolute domination against Jim Miller where he got slaughtered. How bad is Katona? 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner, can't even get Jesse Butler out of there. Jim Miller's finishing him, I think, in a round. Now, granted, that was short notice, but overall, I just don't think Butler has a future in the UFC. He's 12-6 overall. Brad Katona takes him down, out-grapples him, lands ground and pound repeatedly. And I don't think there was really anything notable about this fight, really. I mean, that's pretty much it. Just some nasty elbows in the second. There was a couple times where it's like, okay, maybe the ref could jump in here, but didn't. Katona gets it done. Moving up on the card to one of my favorite fights on the card, Carlos Prates versus Charles Radtke. Phenomenal performance by Carlos Prates. He gets it done via first round TKO with a nasty step-in knee to the body that he landed once before, and he was setting up all night. Beautiful performance. Beautiful performance. And the first like minute or so, Radtke was having a little bit of success, but you could just tell that Prates just had no respect for him, and I think that's why Radtke was landing. It's a dangerous game to play, but Prates has such good striking, and Prates was landing good leg kicks, landing good teep kicks. Radtke went for like a takedown or two. I think he went for like 2 takedowns, got stuffed, really never got close to it. And Prates just chipping away at the body with front kicks. Then, boom, lands a picture-perfect step-in knee to the body. The commentary team didn't even see it or talk about it. And you could tell immediately. I saw Charles Radtke drop his guard immediately as soon as after that knee. And I could see that Prates was still looking to land it again. And he threw it again, missed. Radtke kind of threw a counter. And then right afterwards, nasty step-in knee to the body. And then he walks off. Radtke's like just rolling around on the ground in straight up agony. And the ref's like looking at him. And, I'm going to be honest. Carlos Prates almost fumbled this with the walk-off. I mean, it was done. No doubt it was done. Right straight knee to the liver. But the ref was giving Charles Radtke every chance to get up. And then he realized, he's just staring at the ground. Let me wave it off. Because I think Radtke had already thought it was done. And this could have been one of those things where he fumbled Jalen Turner style. Not as bad, I guess. But yeah, it would have been as bad because it was over for sure. But the refs were inexperienced tonight. There were a lot of guys we didn't know. But overall, great performance from Carlos Prates. The striking is phenomenal. And I don't think there's anything better to do on a Saturday night than watch Charles Radtke take body shots from another man during Pride Month. So Carlos Prates gets it done via first round TKO. Moving up on the card, we have Thiago Moisés versus Ľudovít Klein. Ľudovít Klein wins via unanimous decision. And outside of a couple nut shots from Ľudovít Klein just dominated this fight, was just way more athletic, was faster, was just bodying Thiago Moisés, which I was shocked by, to be quite honest. Because Ľudovít Klein's gotten out-grappled in the past, and Moisés has really good jiu-jitsu, really good ground game. Ľudovít Klein was stuffing every single takedown, was landing good shots on the feet. Moisés had some good leg kicks, but Klein would return every single one of them. I think in the first round, I realized in the first round, because I picked Moisés, I realized in the very first round that it was over for Moisés. Moisés was striking, he was doing well. Perfectly timed takedown. I believe it was a double leg attempt, dead center of the cage. I mean, shot through him. And Klein just stuffed it with ease. And I said, you know what? If he's not getting that perfectly timed takedown, he's not getting any takedown on Klein. I think Klein, a little bit better striker, which proved to be accurate. And then at the tail end of the round, I think there was a left hand from Klein that dropped him. So clearly won the round, where there was a head kick on Moisés. And then Moisés like delayed, fell to the ground. I think it was in the second round, but Klein just bodied him in this fight. Moisés had no answer at all. But I think it was a head kick. It was a head kick in the second round. Clipped him up. And then he kind of like, it was like a Shane Burgos. Remember when Shane Burgos, I believe, got KO'd by Barboza? It was a delayed reaction, but he was able to survive. Didn't really go for the finish that much. And then there was a scramble on the ground, and Moisés was looking for a knee bar, but never really got close to it. And yeah, I mean, Klein just bodied him. Hurt him in the third round as well with like a knee to the body. But Moisés was able to survive. Moisés is really solid, I think. So good win from Klein. Showed massive amounts of improvement in his grappling, in my opinion. Was just stronger, more athletic. Beat him to the shot every single time. Even when Moisés got in good, he just stuffed the takedown. So Moisés had to be very disheartened when he would look for a takedown. Couldn't even get close to it. Couldn't even get close to a takedown. So Klein gets it done via unanimous decision. The only kind of blemish on that fight was the 2 nut shots from Klein. Landed 2 kicks to the nuts of Thiago Moisés. So, yeah, Klein gets it done. Moving up on the card, we have, and this is the main card opener, we have Punahele Soriano versus Miguel Baeza. I wish I could remember who this ref was. Does it say on Tapology? No, it does not. Fuck this ref. Somebody needs to throw this ref in prison. It'd be a real shame if somebody caught this ref coming out of the KFC arena and sucker punched him. It'd be a real shame if someone saw this ref walking through a parking lot and they hit him with their car like Superbad style, where he doesn't get seriously injured, but he gets roughed up a little bit. It'd be a real shame. Punahele Soriano ate a couple side kicks to the body. After that, took him down. No, he didn't even take him down. He clinched up with him. Baeza looked for a guillotine and then looked for a heel hook, and then he's getting smashed after he's looking for the heel hook, and then he's looking for a knee bar, getting smashed some more. And after the first round with those couple submission attempts, same thing every round. Soriano takes him down, beats the living fuck out of him. It was painful to watch. Fuck the referee for not jumping in. Fuck his corner for not throwing in the towel. Fuck the doctor for not stopping it. Fuck the arena for not rioting. It was completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. How are you going to watch this guy get so many shots? I mean, this was a ridiculous amount of ground and pound. And they were big shots, especially in the second round. Let me just tell you my scoring real quick. I had Soriano winning 10-7 in the second round. 10-7. I'm not kidding. Third round, you could arguably give it 10-7. I think one judge had it 30-20. 2 judges had it 30-25. Yeah, 2 judges had it 30-25. One had it 30-27. Fuck that judge too. What? Every round's a 10-9? Are you smoking crack? Crystal meth? What are you smoking? But Baeza got the absolute shit stomped out of him. And it was tough to watch. He came out in the third round. His legs were still wobbly from the second round. Nothing. He quit in there. What's crazy is it didn't even look like Baeza had that much damage at the end of the fight. That's the craziest part. But the brain damage, believe me, that will be there forever. And it just sucks when you're watching this. Like it kind of ruined the card for me in a way. Because watching Baeza just get the piss beat out of him like that after he's already been KO'd brutally in the last few fights, it was just really tough to watch. But overall, I guess it's a well-rounded performance from Soriano, who's typically a striker. Easily out-grappled Baeza. Baeza outside of those couple submissions in the first round, where he's holding onto a heel hook, holding onto a knee bar, and just getting smashed. Like at one point he was holding onto a heel hook, and his back was up against the fence, and he couldn't really get extension on it. And that's when it all started. Soriano just started ripping him right to the chin, right to the forehead with right hands. I thought he might KO him. Why are guys holding on to like leg lock submissions when they don't have them? That's what I would love to know. It makes absolutely no sense. Make it make sense. Soriano gets it done. Should have been a 30. Let's see. First round, let's say you score the first round 10-9 because of submission attempts. Second round 10-7, third round 10-7. So what's that? That's a 30-23. I have it 30-23. I'll give him the 10-7 in the third. But because Soriano was gassed kind of from throwing so many shots in the second, he didn't put as much damage on him. But the third was definitely a 10-8. So bare minimum, it was a 30-24. But I have no problems with a 30-23 scorecard. That's how bad this loss was for Miguel Baeza. Moving up on the card, Julian Marquez versus Reese. I had some qualms about picking Zach Reese coming off a Batista bomb loss against Cody Brundage. But he went out there and gets a first-round KO. Marquez kind of complained. Marquez landed a calf kick, ate a body kick, left hook behind it. It didn't really land, and then nasty uppercut that put him down bad, and then a hammer fist from Reese to finish it off. Great win. Great performance. This is what he should have done in this fight. And looked explosive in there. He's looked explosive in the past. And, you know, he looked for a submission against Cody Brundage, and Cody Brundage picked him up and Batista Bomb KO'd him in his hometown, I believe, or his home state at the bare minimum. He had something to prove here, man. Dana White in the UFC likes to really promote these Dana White's Contender Series guys. But if you start losing, all of a sudden you start getting fed to the wolves. And, you know, they gave him a fight here. They're like, you know what? Brundage was probably a fluke, and it probably was. And he, you know, got Batista bombed because he held on to a submission for too long. He needed to get this win. Marquez has been around for a while. He's kind of become a bit of a punching bag. It's sad to say. I like his fight style. He's an exciting fighter. I like him. But Zach Reese went out there and did what he needed to do and got to finish quickly as well. I mean, this was a 20-second KO. Lasted 20 seconds. Marquez only landed a calf kick. That's it. After that, nasty body kick that was picture perfect. Left hook that didn't really land, and then uppercut that put him down and out. He protested the stoppage a little bit. There was absolutely no problem with the stoppage at all. No problem with the stoppage at all. So Zach Reese gets a first-round KO. Moving up on the card, we have Bruno Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. I started questioning my pick mid-first round because Stoltzfus was clinching. Ferreira looked for a toss, ended up on bottom. There was a knee bar attempt from Stoltzfus, and Bruno Ferreira was digging his toes in Stoltzfus' ass, and then eventually Ferreira gets up. As he gets up, he looks gassed. He looked tired. He looked exhausted. And I'm like, midway through the first round, you look exhausted. Then he lands a spinning back elbow. Then just a crazy onslaught, walking him down, landing big shots, looking for the finish. Stoltzfus is kind of stumbling. And then there was another just picture-perfect, brutal spinning back elbow to the eye socket that hurt him really, really bad. And the ref jumped in. I think it was Herzog, actually. And some people complained about this stoppage a little bit. Perfect stoppage, in my opinion. I mean, that was a brutal spinning elbow that hurt him bad. And he was hurt so bad, I said on live stream, you know, he was walking off like he's in the grocery store looking for his mom. He started like looking outside at the fence, like kind of walking briskly off to the side. Bruno Ferreira was about to give him so much CTE if Jason Herzog, which I believe was the ref, didn't step in right there. It was a picture perfect, full body, full impact spinning back elbow to the point his cheekbone might be broken. His orbital bone might be broken. I don't think it was because it didn't really swell up. But man, I was worried. Ferreira, when he hurt him with the first spinning elbow, which kind of landed on the forehead, he got a burst of energy. He's like, I got to get this finished. But had he not got this finished, Stoltzfus might have came back. Because Ferreira already looked tired. Had he looked for the finish and not found it, he probably would have completely gassed out and lost the second and third. But I guess the first probably would have been a 10-8 after that. But yeah, Stoltzfus, when you get hit with a spinning elbow so bad, you look like you're in the grocery store looking for your mom that you lost. We need a stoppage. So I thought it was a great stoppage. Great win from Bruno Ferreira, which I think a lot of people expected first round KO. Moving up on the card, we have the featured fight on the card. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios. Great fight. Honestly, probably fight of the night, I guess. I would say probably fight of the night. It's hard to say. Raul comes out to touch gloves. Turcios says, fuck no. Spams a head kick right afterwards. Then Raul starts looking to grapple, looking for takedowns, gets him down, controls him a little bit. Then at some point, Turcios scrambles out and gets the back and starts looking to sink in a rear naked choke. And Raul doesn't even care. It looks deep. But Raul's got that chin. He looks like the Crimson Chin. He's got his chin tucked. He's not even fighting the hands. It looks like it's about to slip under the chin, but not his chin. And he just starts throwing punches backwards. And eventually he scrambles out, ends up on back, takes the back of Turcios, and starts looking to set up his own rear naked choke and throw some ground and pound. So I thought Raul won the first round. I know Turcios had that kind of rear naked choke, but I think Raul had more control time, did some damage on the ground, landed some good ground and pound shots. Nothing crazy, but like a couple decent flurries. I thought he won the first round. Plus, he had his own kind of attempt at the end there. Second round, Raul super aggressive, lands a knee, looks to get a takedown, gets him down, finds the back, locks up the body triangle, and then eventually finds the rear naked choke. And it was funny because it was on Turcios' chin as well. And Raul just, you could see as soon as he locked it up, as soon as he got the hand placement where he wanted to, he just started squeezing really hard. And at one point, Tercios went face down, and then when he came back up, it was underneath the chin. There was like spit flying out of his mouth, and he finally tapped out. And he tapped with his fist. It was kind of weird because he tapped twice because the ref didn't stop it after the first tap with the fist. But great performance from Raul Rosas Jr. And Tercios came to fight, man. He must have been confident. He was being aggressive. His grappling defense was really good. Like at some points when Raul, I think was in the first round, was looking to take the back early on after he had him in like a cage seated position. And then like scrambled out, and like Raul was looking to take the back. He was blocking the second hook from getting in, and Tercios was really scrambling well and grappling well with Raul. And I was wondering, is Raul going to get tired, similar to how he did in the Christian Rodriguez fight? But nope. And great submission defense. He asked Dana White for a $100K bonus. Wants to buy his mom a house at 19. Dana better give it to him. Great publicity. Give him the $100K bonus, Dana. But overall, second round rear naked choke, Raul Rosas Jr., and perfect prediction for me, which I know it's not a great prediction. Everyone probably picked that shit. But I was so happy that Raul got the second round rear naked choke, exactly how I predicted the fight to go down. Great win. Can't wait to see who he fights next. He says he wants to fight at the Sphere. I say give him a fight at the Sphere. Moving up on the card, we have the co-main event. We have Dominick Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby. Dominick Reyes. They were zipping up the body. They were zipping up the body at the morgue. They were getting ready to put him in the freezer. And somebody said, you know what? I found a faint pulse. He's got a faint pulse. The dead body of Dominick Reyes was resurrected in Louisville. He gets a first round KO against Dustin Jacoby. You know what's funny? I could tell that Dominick Reyes had no confidence. I seen a clip of him like pre-fight presser. Dude looked shook. Dude, like you could just tell by his body language and his demeanor and the way he spoke. He was terrified that he was going to lose this fight. Hasn't won a fight since 2019. Hasn't devastated somebody in 5 years. Imagine going to work for 5 years and not accomplishing your job. Not even a little bit. And you could tell he came in, he was nervous. And I'm telling you, Jacoby said, this guy ain't got a chin. Because Jacoby started walking him down, looking for big shots. And I'm like, oh no, please no. I can't watch Dominick Reyes get chinned again. I was praying if any pick was going to be wrong, it was going to be the Reyes pick. Because I picked Jacoby by first round KO. And Jacoby got too over aggressive, got sniped with a left hand, and then Reyes just started walking him down, landed a couple more big shots, landed a knee that kind of put him down. Then he started working his way back to his feet, and Reyes is just smashing him up against the fence, and finally the referee steps in. And you could see the utter relief. You could see the weight lifted off of Reyes' shoulder. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. I'm so happy for Reyes. I'm so happy that he has a faint pulse now in the division. They're talking about, oh, this changes the whole division. I say give Dominick Reyes Anthony Smith. If he beats Anthony Smith, then we can talk about him being a contender again. Right now, let's pump the brakes. A win over Dustin Jacoby does not make you like a top 10 contender again. But I really think Dominick Reyes was a victim of being elevated off of a loss. I know a lot of people think he won the John Jones fight, and fair enough, maybe he did. But when you elevate a guy off of a loss, and more importantly, when you elevate a guy off of one performance, you never know what could have went into that one performance. In this case, could have been Jones's off night. I'm not making excuses for Jones, but I'm just saying Reyes at that point, nobody thought Reyes had a chance against Jones. He went in there, had the performance of a lifetime, and then lost, split decision, and everyone elevated him. And in his mind, he's like pissed, like that title was mine, and then boom, gets brutalized by Jan Blachowicz. Boom, gets brutalized by Jiří Procházka. What's crazy is, boom, gets brutalized by Ryan Spann with a jab. And like, this is where he is now in 2024. But let's see. I hope Dominick Reyes can get some confidence back. You know, Cody Garbrandt, I think, got some confidence back after beating Trevin Jones. So maybe this will be the push that Dom Reyes needs to kind of get back and at least be competitive with the top 15. I'm thinking maybe that's possible. The light heavyweight division isn't that skilled. So he needs the confidence. I still don't trust his chin. I don't trust his chin whatsoever. Got KO'd by a jab from Ryan Spann. But yeah, I think you give Dominick Reyes the Anthony Smith fight next. Great performance from Dominick Reyes. Somebody said he didn't get a bonus. Shame on the UFC for that. Shame on the UFC for that. Moving on to the main event, we have Jared Cannonier versus Nassourdine Imavov. All right, before we get to the finish, let's talk about it round by round. First round, Cannonier was landing some good shots, some big shots, leg kicks. Imavov was having some success with some decent combinations, some decent jabs, and some kicks himself. Cannonier got like an early kind of ragdoll takedown, then was clinching up with him a bit, and then I think it was later in the round, Nassourdine Imavov got a takedown. I thought it was pretty even on the feet, maybe slight edge to Jared Cannonier, so I gave Jared Cannonier round one. Round two, Cannonier started nonstop clinching. Just clinching nonstop. Had some decent jabs in round 2. Jared Cannonier had some decent jabs. But Imavov had a couple really good combinations. I think it was 2 really good combinations, like 3-4 bunch combinations where he really kind of stung Cannonier. And then Cannonier would clinch up again. And then Imavov, when he would break out of it, he would land a good elbow in the break. I thought Imavov clearly won round 2. Round 3. Imavov started landing some good combinations. Had a takedown after he ducked under a shot. Kind of dragged him to the ground a bit. Cannonier had some decent combos, but it was crazy because Nasruddin, I thought, looked like he was starting to get tired from all the clinch work, but Cannonier looked more exhausted in the third round. So third round was Cannonier just clinching nonstop with literally no damage. Wasn't even doing anything. Not even knees to the thighs or foot stomps in the clinch. Imavov had some knees in the clinch and had some baby shots in the clinch, and I thought he landed the better combinations on the feet. I scored round 3 for Imavov. I don't think anyone would disagree with me on that one. Round 2, maybe somebody would disagree, but Cannonier was basically clinching and doing nothing. And while he would control him there, when they did break, I felt like Imavov, and specifically in the second and third round, it felt like he was picking up the pace. When he would pressure, he would land good shots on Jared Cannonier. Then you get to the 4th round. Imavov gets a 4th round TKO. I know this is going to be a bit of a controversial take. I don't hate the stoppage. I think it was a tad early, but I saw all I needed to see. So in the 3rd round, Imavov was winning. He ate like a partial spinning back elbow from Cannonier, took his back, looked for a takedown for a little bit, then broke. Then starts lighting him up with right hands. Lands a nasty right hand that doesn't hurt Cannonier, and then a jab and a right hand that hurts Cannonier. Cannonier starts stumbling all over the place. He turns his back and sprints away Chelsea Chandler style. Basically runs into the fence. Cannonier gets up against the fence, and then Imavov catches him with another picture-perfect right hand. He starts stumbling again like he's going to fall face forward. Then Cannonier clinches up with him, throws some knees, and starts throwing some clinch work a little bit, and then Jason Herzog steps in. Live, it was a weird moment. I thought like maybe 3 or 4 seconds before, it would have been a more justified stoppage. But I will say, I don't hate the stoppage. When I watched it back, it was 20 seconds of Cannonier kind of flailing around, turning his back on his opponent, and damn near falling face forward. I don't think it's that bad of a stoppage. And maybe I'm just biased. If I'm biased in this case, everyone likes to call me biased with this, biased with that. If I am biased in this case, maybe I'm biased for Jason Herzog because I think he's a great ref. But I don't think that defends any bad decision making. You know, I don't think just because you're a great ref, you don't get, you know, you're not innocent of making a really bad mistake. I don't think this was a bad mistake. I think the optics of Cannonier falling all over the place is what led to this stoppage. And you can't say you're intelligently defending yourself when you're falling around with your back turned to your opponent and damn near the fence is holding you up. He threw one shot kind of right before the stoppage as he backed up against the fence, threw like a sloppy right hook that didn't really land, maybe partially land. And Imavov gets the win. And I think truly, and I know people are going to say Cannonier could have fought back and battled back. I think he's getting flatlined probably right there. I think Cannonier's probably getting flatlined. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he survives, but either way, if he loses that round, he's going to lose, unless Imavov's completely gassed, he's going to probably lose the 5th round as well. Imavov's cardio impressed me in this fight, and I told you guys before. Went 5 rounds with a decent output against Roman Dolidze. Went 5 rounds against Sean Strickland, even though he lost. Battled a lot in the clinch. I think Imavov would have been fine. I think he probably would have won the 5th round. You know, he was picking his shots, and that's why I also think Herzog kind of stopped it. Because every shot was really connecting. You know, it was very few. There was a good knee in the clinch that landed as Cannonier's falling all around. Imavov kind of corralled him and landed a good knee. I think we were about maybe 3 to 5 seconds early, maybe. But I'd rather that than a Miguel Baeza non-stoppage. I'd rather that. And I think this bit of an early stoppage controversy is going to overshadow an amazing performance by Nasruddin Imavov, because let's be real about this. Cannonier is fighting like a clinch version of Sean Strickland. He was clinching up and doing absolutely nothing. Whenever Nasruddin Imavov pressed forward, he was landing good shots. So, like, what are we going to... And 2 judges had Cannonier up 2-1. One judge had it correct scorecard round 1 for Cannonier, and then the other 2 rounds for Imavov. But it's, you know, I guess it's not that crazy, you know, because there was a lot of clinch work and the judges were horrible tonight. But overall, I think this is a phenomenal performance by Imavov. I think the stoppage is going to overshadow it a little bit. But again, no matter what, I think he would have won. He was going to get a stoppage or he was going to find a decision. Do I love the stoppage? No. Do I hate it? Absolutely not. To call this like one of the worst stoppages ever. Ariel Helwani was online calling it a robbery. Jamal Hill was calling it a horrible stoppage as well. And I know a lot of people were. I understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, it's kind of how I feel about Diaz versus Masvidal. In real time, I was there actually live when the Diaz-Masvidal fight got stopped. And in real time, I was like upset and angry, but then I started thinking about it for like 30 seconds, and I was like, you know what? I saw all I needed to see. And in this fight, I saw all I needed to see. Imavov was going to win this fight. I think it was a performance of a lifetime for him. I think he's young. He's improving. His cardio is underrated now because, he's had some moments where he's faded. And to put this type of performance on Jared Cannonier, I think is phenomenal. Phenomenal performance, outstriking him on the feet. Jared Cannonier had some good moments with some leg kicks, but outside of that, Jared Cannonier was getting tagged on the feet, which was forcing him to clinch. So I don't think the stoppage should overshadow a great win from Nassourdine Imavov. The clinch work definitely needs work. He needs to be more urgent and working his way out of a clinch, because you have some other guys who, they get you in the clinch, they're not going to let you out as easy. And you're wasting away minutes in the clinch. Jared Cannonier probably had in the all 4 rounds, probably like 2 or 3 minutes control time in the clinch. You start wasting away minutes like that and you have poor judging. Next thing you know, you lose a fight. But overall, Nassourdine Imavov striking looked really on point. His defense definitely needs some work. Cannonier had some moments, particularly in the first round, where he would spam a couple right hands and land it. But Imavov kind of lived up to his name. Looked super accurate on the feet. The right hand was picture perfect, and he landed it throughout the fight. He was just kind of pawing away with that jab and then boom, sniping with that straight right hand. And overall, I don't want to say a flawless performance, because he definitely got hit and needs to work on his kind of defensive striking. But to do it against a guy like Jared Cannonier is really impressive. It's really, really impressive. Cannonier, really good fighter, up towards the top of the division. Imavov finally gets that staple win that he didn't get against Sean Strickland on short notice when both of them fought each other on short notice. Well, Imavov had a fight scheduled, but either way, different opponent in short notice. And he calls out Strickland afterwards, which is a fight I would love to see. I would love to see that rematch. I know Strickland says, I'm going to wait for a title shot. Wait how long? Because Adesanya's getting the next shot. I'm not defending it. I think it's an undeserved title shot. Then Hamzat, if he beats Whitaker's getting the next title shot. How long are you going to sit out for? So UFC's going to pay him well, take on Imavov. I'd love to see that rematch. I'd love to see how it plays out. I'd love to see someone rematch Strickland with his kind of wonky style and hard to hit style. I'd love to see how it would go. So I think that's a great matchup. Nassourdine Imavov is a legit contender in the middleweight division. He says he wants to fight in Paris. I think that's in September. Would love to see that as well. Great win over Jared Cannonier. I feel bad for Cannonier. I almost would have liked him to kind of, people say, well, let him go out on a shield. He's 40 years old. This was his last chance for a title run. Maybe he could have rallied back. I do see that narrative. I do understand that narrative. But at the end of the day, I'd rather like a slightly early stoppage than a like drastically late stoppage. So I'm okay with it. On rewatch, I was even more okay with it just because 20 seconds of him kind of fumbling around like a drunk guy in the dark. So Imavov, picture perfect right hands over and over and over again. Very selective on his kind of finishing instinct. I don't think he was going to gas himself out looking for finish. Perfect shot selection, perfect accuracy, and he gets a 4th round TKO over Jared Cannonier. Great win for Nassourdine Imavov. Let me know what you guys think of the fight. Let me know what you guys think of all the fights tonight down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.